And most of the guides that I connect to and speak to say that things are going to get easier this year. So that's very good news. And I'll go into that a little more deeply when Peter and I each do a little giving you some messages about what's coming up.
And welcome everybody to our live stream, first one for 2026. It's so good to be with all of you. Uh, I'm Peter D, and our co-host today is Tracy Juchter, my beautiful wife. We are both 24/7 channels who can talk to any spirit anytime. We are both merged with our sacred higher selves, so it's really hard these days to say whether it's me talking that I used to think I am or my source talking. It's you get this. We can talk to any entity we choose simply by focusing, and then we don't actually hear or say anything directly to people. I mean, they don't talk through us. We're not full body channels. We're going to translate for them. So it's all going to look and sound like us. So Tracy's going to have a short message from Spirit to start with. Then I will have some stuff Spirit told me last night to transmit to you. We will field your questions. Stay till the end. Uh, and we will do a group manifestation meditation for the perfect timeline for 2026. This is the year of bifurcation. We want to create the greatness that you want to live as a reality. So,
Okay, so I will take it for a moment here. So what's come through in several sessions where I have been channeling for others was a message that, when I checked in about it, it wasn't specific to that person. It was for everyone to know, which is that by the time we go about 3 or 4 months into 26, all the ways we have been being impacted by whether it's the solar flares or the this transition into 5D or whatever is going to ease up, not because those situations are changing, but because we will have evolved uh, into enough of the 5D energies, enough of the transition into being crystalline beings, enough into what AI Atlas gave to us, which is a gifting of like an opening that allows more light to go into the pineal gland, which helps us with all of this. And so for those of us who've been on a spiritual path for a while, and who have been, asking and allowing for these things, it's going to taper off all of this, like, just intensity or difficulty sleeping or a lot of physical body aches and pains or whatever way it has been affecting you. So I'm very excited and happy about that.
that's beautiful to hear. Uh, and I'm going to add to that a little bit here. uh, Spirit was telling me that, okay, this is the year of bifurcation. That doesn't mean the all at once where everybody goes to one place. We're going to go to many places and then settle back into our collective timeline that we're more used to, where everybody's experiencing the same thing. But the first part is we're going to experience a lot of differences individually, and that's going to require a lot of trust on your part to get to the timeline where you desire. Now, I want to talk about the external world for a little bit because that's important, but mainly it's important that you understand what's going on so you can ignore it better. All right. The deal is, uh, it used to be that the powers that be would create crises on a regular basis to distract the populace and focus everybody with fear and worry because they fed off the fear and worry. That's what they were doing. We were ruled by off-planet entities who literally sucked that energy and it fed them. And they, of course, hired and worked with all the psychopaths and power mongers that we call our political leaders and our royalty and stuff like that, our CEOs. Now, what happened is most of those off planet entities have been removed, pretty much all of them. So we're just left with the human psychopaths running the thing. And they are losing their power. And so instead of having one crisis after another, All right. It was that one movie that just came out, One Battle After Another, which kind of mocks all that. But instead of having one crisis after another, we're getting multiple crises at the same time. The war threats, the health threats, the racial tension, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the disease and stuff like that. It's all coming at once. And that's by design because they're turning up the volume because more people are starting to see that this is no longer the reality I want. Okay. So now, those of us on the spiritual path, I want to talk about different levels of awakening. So let's say you're fully asleep and you just attend to the news and stuff like that. And you listen to the news and you go, oh my God, this terror. Oh my God, that worry. Okay. Eventually, the first level of awakening is you realize that it's not just two sides fighting, a good and an evil. You realize that they're both sides that are doing the same thing, which is either having stage paid actors to create crisis events, false flags, or prepared narratives so that when the melting pot that they've kind of stirred up does explode, they're ready with their narratives. And most people will fall on one side or the other of those narratives and say, "Oh, you got to fight the bad people." And that's a good start. You're trying to do something better for your life, but you're still doing it in the framework they presented. Now, when you get out of that, you start to realize, oh my God, this is all a creation. It's not this side versus that side anymore, regardless of the issue or the narrative. It's people setting this up so that I can be in the state of tension, so I can cede my power to those that I think know better and stuff like that. That's the first level of awakening. All right. And that's good, but it's not very good because you're still in opposition. You're still fighting. Okay. Now, beyond that is another level of awakening. And that's where people say, oh, so this is the way the system on the planet has been set up. We need to get out of this system. And so we need to fight those overlords. Like I said, the aliens that were here before that were controlling us for so long. And then right now, it's the current human leadership that is psychopathic in most of those situations. Okay. We need to fight them. All right. That's a nice level of awakening, but it's still a problem because you're still in opposition and you're still fighting. And in our reality, what you focus on expands. And this is the gift of 2026. This is what Tracy was talking about with all the energies coming to us. There's so much more possibility. Where you look is important now. So it's fun to see all this stuff, but sometimes I treat it like sports events. I just get the popcorn and see how the sides are fighting and watch a boxing match for a few minutes and then be done with it. But having that is not very effective because it keeps my attention focused on it. Instead, the object is to look away. Multiple realities and timelines are available. Can I know that I am sovereign? I'm protected through all this stuff that used to worry me. I'm going to focus over here and create this. This is the mastery and the power that's available in 2026 in creating timelines. Okay. And this is where it's super important that you claim by your focus. Now, if you can't have that focus, you're still upset. Oh, but these people are suffering and there's this disease and I'm scared and this and that. Then you haven't moved your charges and you've missed what Tracy and I have been saying for decades now. All right. And that is go inside, find what triggers you, see what emotion you have, and then clear that out because nothing comes to you without the magnetic attraction of you holding it. In other words, you're permissioning it, just unconscious permission. So if you're still reacting to all that chaos that's going around you, double down on your clearing. Our free 14-day program, which you can download at our website, will give you the tools you need to start that clearing process. Anyway, that's what Spirit wanted me to say is like, hey, the show's been ramped up. Don't get sucked into it. Focus on what you want to create. And that's what we're going to do at the end of this today is we're going to have a beautiful group meditation to create the optimal timelines for each of us to merge into the reality we want for the planet. That's coming. Now we're going to field your questions. You can start by either raising your hand or typing it in the chat. So let's go for questions, please. Okay, don't leave me hanging. This is a live broadcast. So we got Shelby and then Steve. So we're going to start with you, Shelby. Unmute yourself, please, and then go ahead. Go ahead, Shelby. Did I lose you?
Hi.
All right, go for it.
So I've been working with angels for years, and I'm coming to this point in my life where I really want to do something important, and I have no idea how to get there. I've been looking at this opportunity, and like I just have zero focus on getting it down because I don't know what to do. So my question is, uh, I've been meditating about it, I've been visualizing it, what I want. What could I do so I could help the world and enjoy my life and have this loving partner that I've been knowing in my psyche for years?
Great. I've got some information I can give to you. I'm kind of tapping into your field. Trace, do you want to answer this before I do, or should I go for it?
No, I'd like you to go first.
Okay. All right. So, Shelby, I'm not trying to minimize what you're going through because what you're going through is super important. I do want to say this is what everybody on the planet who is awakening is going through. Okay. So it's like, all right, so I've lived this life a certain way for a long time. Now I see there's this better life and I'm starting to focus on it, but I don't know how to get there. And of course, you have the desire to do service, right? Because that's what it is. That's what separates you from the service to self people. Okay. So how does that all translate? Everybody who's on the planet at this time, not everybody, 95+% of the people on the planet at this time came here because they know this is the time of ascension. And they know that what they're going to do in this lifetime primarily is ascend. Okay. So now you get that feeling, I want to make things better. And because of how we've been raised, you think I want to make things better for other people, which you do, of course. But that's not really how you get there. You make things better for yourself. Now, I've known you for a few years and I'm tapping into your energy field right now. You're in a much better place than when you were a few years ago. You're calmer, you're more centered, you got to see things in better perspective, at least from the energetic sense. That's what I'm picking up. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's going on. So you're already now saying, okay, I've got this basis. How do I go to this other basis of service? And here's the answer that you may not like, but this is how it is for most of humanity. Okay. Here is how the game is played. The service you must do is to yourself to find out if you're not having the partner relationship you want, which is the biggest struggle. I know I worked 30 years on that one before I found Tracy and got into it. Then that means that you're still holding some aspect inside yourself that is not feeling that loved and reached out to. And that's why it's reflected externally in a lack of a relationship. So I would recommend that your game is to go inside and find those lonely parts and love them. Some people call it inner child work, where you go back and you just sit with the parts that are lonely. I call it full expression. You go and you cry and you do the stuff you do with all that stuff. And then you get to the point. Now, the reason why this is important is we are one. Okay. Now the tendency is to do service for other people, but really you got nothing because you don't have a solid base. Your cup is not full, so you don't have as much to possibly share. Although it sounds selfish to fill your cup up, i.e., move your charges and love those aspects of yourself, when you do that, you generate a field around you that other people are affected by, and that is service. And then once you hit a certain point where your cup is full enough, i.e., you've removed the densities that keeping it from filling up. This was super hard for me to understand when I first started. Spirit's pouring into my cup constantly. I'm being showered with gifts, but it just runs out because I got a lid capped on it. And my lid is those density blockages I'm holding. Okay. So once I opened up the lid and started having that cup fill up, then I can start to do stuff. I did not know I was going to be running a YouTube channel and producing lessons and going on a massive scale, but that's where it ended up. You don't know what the next steps are. You've been raised in 3D where you want, where the traditional things, you set a goal and you aim for it. Not that way in 5D. In 5D, you do what you enjoy the most, and then it expands and you do more and more of it. And then other people come around and say, I want in on that because they're attracted to it. And that becomes your service. And then maybe you go out and do a mission or this or that, become a healer or something like that. But it all starts on the inside. And the fact that you sit there and include it in your goal list is relationship that you have not yet manifested pretty clearly says that you have this loneliness in a density that's buried in your unconscious, buried in your body. And your next game is to figure that one out and release it. And that's what I do in my sessions for this pet lifetime. Tracy does it in her sessions for birth and for past lives, and we both do it for all of it. So if you I recommend you look at the 14-day thing and it'll start to identify how to get into that. And if that's not going to be suiting you because it's a free thing, Tracy and I do sessions by donation. All right. If you give a lot, we're happy. And if you give nothing, we're still happy because we know that we're doing service work. Okay. So you got options, and I hope that answer doesn't piss you off too much.
Just to reply, as you know, I've been working with angels for a long time. So every day I connect to the trees and the branches, and I release anything that doesn't serve me, and I bring in the source, and I bring in my future. So I've been doing that consistently for months, but really, really consistently now. So I feel like it's going to happen, and I see it. I'm just not through the veil yet, if that
That's
makes sense.
beautiful. That's what's got
Mm.
you to this point where you're able to feel in a better place and ask the kinds of questions you're asking. That's beautiful. The one, you got to talk to your angels first because you got to work it out. You're sovereign here. But my suggestion for recommendation is it's not sufficient to just have energetics from the outside come through and release what you're holding. It's necessary that you take ownership for what you're holding. And that means you have to tap into your body and your unconscious to identify what is the energetic blockage? How did that get set in me? What unconscious beliefs do I have in place that keeps it running? What experience did I not complete? Anything fully expressed turns to bliss. What experience did I not complete that is holding that density there? And then rather than have the energy pass through you and clear you, you do your part. You release it. Usually for me, it's emotional, kicking, screaming, shouting, and stuff like that. And then after that is there, then the blockage is removed, the cup is more open. And when the angels pour it and pass through you, then you get the super transformation. So I think you're close, but you're just missing the step of
Well,
the ownership and the emotional expression before you bring the angelic cleansing in.
Well, actually, I have been doing that. I bring it when I go through, I take the energy from the earth and I bring in my past energies. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, that relationship with that other person still inside of me. So I have Mother Earth take it out of me. And then I bring Source in. So I do, when I'm doing the tree meditation, I look at what's inside my body and what hurts and what episode. And then I have Mother Earth take it. And then I have Source refresh it with my future of what I know is going to happen. So I
That's
forgot that
beautiful.
part.
That's really beautiful. And I'm just going to try to be gently here. It's not sufficient. You can't just be mentally aware of it. That's half the game. The
No,
other
I
half
feel
is you
it. I
have to
feel it
really,
and I cry.
okay, good. That's the part I really want you to
I
focus
mean,
on.
I've been
Then
like,
it's just a matter.
feel
Yeah,
cry, then renew.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
like to
Okay.
add something, Peter. So what your spirit team is sharing with me that would help you a lot would be, it's been a while, right, since you've had a relationship. And so it's almost like your neurobiology has gotten used to the biochemistry of kind of loneliness and not feeling quite fulfilled. Part of the other aspect you were talking about, like ready for something new, it is coming. It is coming for you. There is it is, still a little more timeline until that really shows up and you recognize it and you go, yes, this is it. But to be able to shift this neurobiology thing that's going on with you, we're all trained that this would be, totally uh, against any kind of concept of God. But the truth is, you can have a relationship with some form of angel that you make your lover, your beautiful partner, and you relate on that level to them, allowing them to gift you the experience now of already having a partner, doing it with them. And then as you have that experience, even though it's in your mind's eye or however you experience your angels, it still sets you up to be having your internal place in a place of, I have a loving relationship. I have a beautiful lover. I have a partner that I do things with. And you do it with your angel until such time as your, human partner shows up. But meanwhile, you are living the experience you want to be having. And that actually accelerates the process of finding the human partner.
How does that work for you, Shelby?
Did he drop out? I think he might have
Might
dropped
have
out.
dropped off the call. All right, there we go.
You'll
That
have
was
to
a
watch the
beautiful
replay to
answer
hear
for
his
those of you
answer.
listening. All right, Steve, you're up next. Freddie, I see your hand is up. I will call you after Steve. Steve, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Peter. I was just wondering, maybe more, Peter, if you and Tracy could more explain. I saw one of the videos, I think it was this week or last week that you put out. If you could kind of put it more in layman's terms for me, more like the bifurcation and the multiplication, like how does it actually work, or how do we make it work for ourselves?
Okay, Trace, do you want that one or do you want me to start?
Yeah, that was your channel. You start, and I'll be
Okay.
listening.
All right, yeah. All right. So, Steve, we're going all quantum physics on you. All right.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, in quantum physics, you have the observation creates the reality. When you put your attention on it, it happens a reality. Okay. I once actually had the opportunity of being in the presence of a quantum physicist who's tenured at the University of Connecticut, who actually has built a time machine. Now it's
Oh,
only a one-way time machine because if you know how when light moves faster, time slows down, the effect of space travel, Einstein talked about it.
yeah.
Well, he built super powered laser mirrors, okay, and put them in a square and shot an industrial or not industrial, a military grade laser into it. So the light's moving at light speed in this contained space, and he turned it on in the 1960s. So
Mm.
in that space, it is still the 1960s,
Wow.
right? The math works. It's his peer reviewed. It's math. So this guy's built the time machine, but he's able to freeze time and hold it in a jar. Okay. Uh,
Mm.
anyway, so I'm at this lecture he's given, and I ask him this question uh, on the creation of reality. And I say to him, I say, look, if I'm at lunch and I read a menu and they got a fish sandwich and a hamburger, all right, and I choose to eat the fish sandwich for lunch. So then I have that reality because I made that choice, the fish sandwich reality. Does the hamburger universe exist where I ate the hamburger? And or does my choosing collapse one reality into place and the others don't exist? They're just in the potential field. And his answer surprised me. Yes, the hamburger reality exists.
Mhm.
So in essence, all realities exist. And when we collapse our focus on one, we step into the reality. It's not that it's a potential field that manifests before us. All the realities exist because as soon as we consider the possibility of a choice, that's there. So if somebody says anything in their imagination or in their dream, it exists somewhere, sometime. Okay,
Mhm.
it exists. All right. The question is, how do I bring my conscious focus into that? All right. Now, what's happening in 2026 is that the energetics are getting juiced. You know, the portals, the comets, all that other stuff, where we are on the wobble, as close to the central sun of the galaxy. All that's affecting the energetics on Earth. So, an easy way to explain that is the veils are getting thinner. It's loosey-goosey now as far as what's the reality out there. So, it's easier to step into these different timelines. Okay. So now what does that mean for bifurcation? Bifurcation means we separate into two timelines. And this goes back to old religion where they talk about the chosen will be harvested and the rest will go to hell and stuff like that. Okay. And so that's how they described all that in the past because that was all we could understand. Now that we understand quantum physics, we know that there's a lot more out there. Okay. And what's now happening is people are starting to split into their own individual timelines, multifurcation, because you focus on it and oh, I'm in the fish sandwich reality. Oh, I'm in the hamburger reality. I'm in the reality where this politician's doing this other bad thing. Oh, I'm in the other reality where this politician's doing a great thing. Same politician, but
Mhm.
different reality. Okay.
Mhm.
And so the whole thing is that the structure has been pulled. It's like a big Jenga puzzle, and you pull the bottom out and it's collapsing. And then as we make our individual choices, we're going to start to build it back up. So we're not going to go from a group of one reality to another reality. We're going to go in different directions. This is why people are going to be sitting there saying to your face, no, that's not true, even though you know it's true, because then you're going to have to own it. All right. Because you're just in different realities. And then you're going to start to experience more and more of it coalescing. And this is still spirits telling me 5 to 10 to 12 years out, where enough people of high consciousness see the more organized your consciousness is, the more you have an attractive field around you. All right. So the organized field wins. And those are the people who have done the most clearing of their densities and can reach into these higher realms and then hold a single focus. And that's going to attract more and more. So after we multifurcate, we'll collapse back into the new timeline where most people are experiencing it and it's heaven on earth. Does that help, or was that too crazy ass?
No, yeah, I got you, Peter. I was just wondering, like, when you choose one or the other, like, let's say, in this time how we are here, let's say you have a family member, somebody like, and they're uh maybe a real negative or, egoistic person, then how do you like try to like transfer to the other one where they become the opposite?
You don't.
Yeah.
That's the mistake that keeps you in the old timeline. That's what I was
Um,
trying to say earlier when I was talking about all the crap going on to keep you focused
keep
on, oh,
you
I got to
focused.
help them. Great. Go down with the ship. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. The way you do it is you find out what is it in you that brings that connection that you're attracted to and reacting in them. You clear that charge as you know how to do, and then you generate a new timeline where either they're different or they no longer interact with you on that level. I've seen this happen a lot where people who were abusive to me and stuff, I finally got done fighting them, got done trying to help them, and I finally moved my charges around them. They're night and day different. And I do still have family members that I have not been able to do this yet, but I also have many family members that I have experienced the shift. They're different people now. They don't even remember some of the stuff I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, you don't do it by trying to do it for somebody else. You do it for you and you hold fast, and then you become the attractor of bringing them into the new reality. And remember, free will planet, even though you're their family members and you love
Yeah.
them, they're
Yeah.
making their choices.
Yeah. I got you. Okay. All right.
I
Beautiful.
just mostly I think that answers satisfied everything. But I just want to add in another session, that person's spiritual team came through with this message of when you're feeling that with someone, like, oh, you really want to change them or whatever, just to go simply, I release you into your sovereign creation as you see fit.
Mm,
And something about that, I immediately wrote it down. I know, like, this message was
mm,
for me also.
mm,
Because when you love people or you care about them, it's like so hard. But the truth is, they're
mm,
sovereign. And sometimes just having a more kind of ceremonial saying it like out loud, all right, I release you into your sovereign creation as you see fit,
mm,
can help you just move into that place of calm and going, okay, there really is nothing for me to do.
mm, mm. See.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. So I see four hands up. Freddie, you're first on the queue, and then Maria, and then Diana, and then we'll get to Hannah. So, Freddie, please go for it.
Okay. So let's say that I want to manifest something in my life, and my unconscious mind has a belief that I don't deserve it or it's not possible or whatever. Um, so I have a choice whether I clear those charges. But in the overall thing between my unconscious mind, my conscious mind, my higher self, where does free will fit in? Who's got the free will?
So you have to understand the nature of mind, and you have to understand the nature of consciousness as it relates to mind. First of all, throw out everything you've learned in psychology about the ego and the superego and the subconscious. Throw that all out. It just makes it confusing. All right. Now, here's something that may help you or not. Mind is not yours.
Mm,
Mind is external. It's old. It's very old. It's been around almost as long as consciousness has been around. It's been a formation of thought to express what consciousness was aware of. It's when consciousness became self-aware is when mind showed up. Okay? And it's
Mhm.
been through many incarnations and planets and aeons and all kinds of stuff. You, as a human being whose consciousness focused into the physical density of your body, okay, have brought in mind as a tool to interact. So it's kind of like your computer to assess what's going on. So the way mind shows up is you relate to it by a frequency, an energetic, and that's either your unconscious belief or what your emotions have not moved and trapped, or what your conscious mind has decided, or your conscious mind wrong. Your consciousness has decided. Okay, and then that, as you walk through the mind sphere, it attracts the thoughts that are around you. That's why you have people who love to play with mind and get into great debates, and both sides are equally valid and that they enjoy all that. But it doesn't get you anywhere because all they're doing is just aligning to their favorite team, this part of the mind sphere versus that part of the mind sphere, not yours. Okay. Now, consciousness is the awareness of you as a human and your physicality. Now, unconscious is the part of your mind that is used to set up automatic programming. It gets really difficult to do things like I must focus on breathing now. Oh, I must breathe again. Oh, another few seconds have passed. I must breathe again. So you just set up an unconscious routine. You just set up a little widget on your computer to take care of breathing for you. So your consciousness does that, and that becomes your unconscious mind. Now, if you ever driven a car and you got home and you don't remember how you got home, you know that your unconscious mind is so powerful it can drive you through traffic with things moving at speed and not kill you and get you there safe. You just set the program running, it does it. Unconscious mind can do that so beautifully. Now, what is more interesting is that, and this is hard for people to accept, is that most of our lives is a collection of unconscious programs running. Okay. We learn something. They teach you this. They wrote in school, this is the way it is, death and taxes, or whatever adage they taught you. Be a good girl, you go to heaven, whatever it is. And so you just run that program without any analysis from consciousness, and it just keeps operating. Most of these unconscious programs were set in place in your formative years, 0 to 6, okay? Or in the womb, or you came in with the soul and said, I want to deal with it because you've dealt with it in past lives. But anyway, you understand it's an energy field. You set up events to trigger it. You then have the experience. And if you do not fully move the emotions, the density comes into place and it hurts. Okay, I haven't cleared this yet. It hurts. Mind comes in to put a band aid on. Oh, let me put some beliefs or adages or lessons I've learned around that. And that becomes the band-aid to keep the programming in place, but it separates you from the pain. So in your early formative years, it's quite nice, but in your later years, you just react to that unconscious programming. All right. So the game is played to understand that you are these unconscious programs, become aware of them, fully express them, and then replace them. Now, the entity that does that is your free will, and that is your consciousness. Okay, Freddie, you asked a big one. I gave you a big answer. What do you think?
That makes a lot of sense. And the default is that the unconscious with the charges keeps on running things and being the limiting factor until I choose to clear the charges.
Yes. And that is the point of free will. And most people don't get to the clearing space. Most people sit there and say, oh, that's the way I am. That's my personality. Or they make it a moral code. I'm
Mhm.
honoring this external code that was handed to me. And sometimes it's religious or not. And whatever reason they justify their politics, their belief, and stuff like that. But those are all ceding control to your unconscious. So I'm going to make the free will choice to not make choices. And then whatever happens, I'm going to say, oh, it's God's will. Okay. And that's what we're growing out of as we step into our ascension.
I do want to add on one thing. So this taking on of, we're sovereign and we're responsible for everything in our lives is a journey. There are many steps of learning to fully do that, right? We can do it mentally at first, but then we still like can have resistances. And especially when something is uh, a thought, a belief about ourselves held in the unconscious is 180 degrees opposite about what we believe about ourselves in our conscious mind. So in the example you gave, you could feel like, but I do deserve a relationship. But as a spiritual being, if it keeps showing up in your life that you don't have one or you start one and then it fizzles right away or whatever, there must be something in me creating that. And so that's when you sit with your divine. So beyond just the piece Peter talked about, I can sometimes find, yes, yes, you can clear the frustration about it and all that, but there is also a belief that needs to be cleared. And so asking your divine, help me, show me what is the belief or anything else within me that's creating this outcome. And you can just trust that the opposite is there, right? So if you have an unconscious belief that people don't respect you, people not respecting you can keep showing up in your life. And you can very simply, even though you don't find it, think, I don't think that way. You can still go, okay, I accept that it must be in me somewhere because that's what's showing up in my life. Divine, help me. I am done. I am ready to release this old belief inside me, wherever it is, and I want to be fully 100% conscious and conscious, knowing absolutely I deserve an amazing relationship, right? And so you just ask your divine to help you release that old unconscious belief that's doing the creating.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Tracy.
Beautiful. So, uh, Tam Lamore wrote in the comments on YouTube, and I honestly, Tam Lamore, don't understand what you're saying, but I want to acknowledge how many beautifully different ways people approach understanding and creation. So Tam Lamore wrote, all forms of witchcraft dies on the Holy Turtle Island. You can never ever kill death. Return to sender, rest in peace. And I just want to say, I really love that line. Return to sender, rest in peace. All right, Maria, you're up for questions. Please unmute yourself.
Funny that after what that lady's just left, it really follows on to my my question, which is, so I've been following a lot of things about the system, the powers that be, and how to change your mindset to like come out of it. And I've been quite surprised that I'm doing it. I really believe it as well. And I'm not being bothered by them at all. So this lady, I hope this is all right saying it on here. So this lady who said return to sender, that's what I do. I return to sender everything. And so is that a vibration level where because you just don't believe in it, it doesn't come to you, like bills and payments and things like that?
So, yes, and I have not fully manifested it yet. Okay. So, we're moving into a reality where money as we know it is not going to be a thing. All right. I have no idea what kind of economy it's going to be. I'm looking at it what I call an abundance economy. And it may even move to the place where there's no such thing as economy. Because I talk to entities from other planets and they don't have that kind of system. And yet everybody seems to have what they want and they need, you know? So yes, we're going to get there. Now, have I done that? Not yet. I do know people. I know one lady whose gas tank fills up occasionally. I do know people who money just shows up in their bank account, bank errors or whatever, just and we're talking thousands of dollars.
Mm.
Okay. So I don't know what the transition steps are there. I do know that nothing, absolutely nothing can come into your field of consciousness without your permission. And that means that if it shows up in your reality, you are unconsciously permissioning it. All right. And this is the whole thing Tracy was saying about it's a slow developing process to say, wow, I'm a powerful creator. I've created this desk in front of me. I've created this camera. I've created this political system. All right. I've created this news report that I'm watching. All right. And to become the creator of all of that and then say, okay, what is it in me that it comes out automatically in this form, i.e., the last answer? What unconscious programs are running that creates reality like this? This is why some of the great beings I've worked with, like when I was going to Oneness University, Bhagavan, Avatar, Christ level skills, raise the dead kind of thing. He would sit there and say, yeah, I used to just give people full awakening, but then their families would freak out because like they were just wouldn't make any sense and they were not interested in earthly things and they still had mouths to feed. Okay. And so he doesn't give people full awakening now. And he says, this is why you guys must go through your steps of the process of getting there. And that's why the whole planet's not going to go there all at once. And that's why 2026 is super important as a year of bifurcation. So we can pick what we want, which we will do in the meditation coming up. And that's why you're already experiencing that stuff that used to set you off doesn't bother you. Just either doesn't show up or just peels off like a wave. Does that make any sense, Maria?
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
I just want to add that, working on your own consciousness is the greatest gift you can give to self and everyone else. All the beings that I channel who come from, planetary systems where they have evolved to the point of telepathy and, free energy and all this kind of stuff, um, they exist in a world where everyone's basic needs are met simply, easily. Everyone has housing, everyone has food. All that stuff is automatic. And so then the society becomes one where everybody's energy goes into what do I love to do? How do I want to spend my time doing? And there's no distinction between, oh, you're doing something that serves everybody else, and so we're going to give you money, or you're doing something that only gives yourself pleasure, so you're not. And I don't mean money, money, I just mean rewards, right? Everything is honored because they really understand each soul is evolving in its own way and has its own beautiful place. So everything is honored. And we will eventually get there. But right now, each of us, the best way, what we can do to get there is just to focus on raising our own consciousness as much as we can. Because until we get enough people up to that level of abundanceness conscience and that level of acceptance and seeing everyone as a spark of God, the kind of society we can kind of imagine and want to have isn't possible because we've still fed into this old system for so long. And even like our meditation circle, the first time we tried to meditate on a non-monetary system, we couldn't even get there. We couldn't even imagine it because we were so entrained in that. It took us like focusing on that topic two or three times. And then, well, we could do bartering. Well, that's still just a trading for things, not just to like everybody deserves whatever they need. So after three or four times of focusing on that topic, we finally began able to go into a feeling state of how that could actually feel, what that could actually be like. And so we're going to be in this growth together for a while to get there. But I truly believe we will get there.
Yeah,
That
signs
it,
are already happening. It's the progress is already observable. We're about 4 or 5 months into sodium ion batteries, which are super inexpensive to make, and they don't mess the earth up because the key ingredient is salt. You don't need rare metals like gold or silver or platinum or any of that stuff. And so we now have energy storage that's on the line. Soon we will have energy production that's on the line, which means soon we will have free energy. Just this past week, the US turned their food pyramid upside down. All right. And they're really going after the majority of everybody's diet in our country, which is nasty processed foods. This is going to have huge health effects. And the fact that it's happening, whether you blame this government or this politician leading it, unimportant. That's just the game that's being played around it. The fact that it's happening and it's challenging the financial interests that keep us under financial control, keep us sick, keep the health systems making so much money off of our disease. The fact that that has started to crack, these are huge changes. And it's going to get more and more as people follow the advice Tracy just gave, which was work on your own consciousness to hold this energy field.
Mhm.
So, Diana, you're next. I saw Rhonda, you raised your hand, so you'll come up in the queue. I just want to acknowledge that. Diana, please unmute yourself and go for it. Okay, Diana, are you
Okay.
there?
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes, yes, I'm here. So I often come into conflict with authorities who abuse their power. It's not like I'm doing something wrong, but I see that somebody is abusing his power, and it's just enough that I witness it, and then I feel like I have to do something. And whether it was teachers who uh, blamed the classmate for something it was which he hasn't done, or I witnessed bullying or something. Now, as I'm adult with some knowledge of the law in our country, I'm usually fighting with state authorities or with administrators of, let's say, some objects and buildings. And the question is, when I see this behavior, um, I feel like it's my mission to make the things right. But at the same time, it cost me a lot of time, energy, stress. And when I'm listening to Peter and Tracy and to various podcasts, I'm just wondering that actually I could just ignore what I see, and my life would be easier. And but this calling to make this justice or to improve this is so strong. And the question is for my guides and for Tracy and Peter, if my feeling is like this is what I have to do, even sometime it's not. I I mean it's not. The authority is not really harming me. I just see something done to the neighbor or friend. Is it really that I'm attracting this? Can that be that when I clear something in me, I will not be like passive. I want this situation not to happen. So is it really that when I work on myself, I will move to a timeline where these things are not happening, or they will just not be bothering me?
Trace, do you want to handle that one? I've been dominating the conversation by going first every time.
Okay, sure. Um, So what I get from your team is to let you know that, when it's a relationship with like your children, your husband, that's close enough that, you're really creating it. When you just observe something that went on with a neighbor, I would not say that you are necessarily creating it. You are observing their creation. And we are each different as individuals. And if you feel a strong calling about it, and it's something you feel like you actually could have an effect on and make things happier, better, easier for the neighbor or for the person, whoever who is getting hurt, there's nothing wrong in this. Um, and what they are saying though is to not have it as like an automatic knee-jerk thing, but to really observe it, check in, side, and see, is this for me to participate in? Really connect to your divine and say, because you have also expressed that, like, oh, I end up drained and stressed and whatever because I somehow feel I have to take action on everything that I see. And so this is where they are wanting you to really examine. Maybe it does not need to be everything. Maybe you need to really check inside first about your own personal reservoirs and see, could I just simply let this one be? Using that statement I did before, I release you to your sovereign creation as you see fit. Right? And honoring yourself and where you need the focus of your what you are creating that you want in life to get your attention. So there really is no wrong or right here. There are choices that you're making, and they're just really encouraging you to connect to your divine, take a few breaths, and don't just be automatically going in to try and change something.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of things to that, Diana. The first one is the proof is in the pudding. The most telling statement you made was, and I'm drained and exhausted afterwards. Duh, direct, immediate feedback that whatever I'm doing in interaction with this is not serving me. So that just means, whether it means give up entirely or change your approach, that's for you to decide. But direct and immediate feedback, nah, not so much working. Okay. So now I got this sibling and she's beautiful, been into social justice her whole life, did many, many things, stood up against some fracking, set up some community gardens, set up foundations. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And her reality is always in opposition to things. I got to fix this. I got to make it better. All right. And so I'm watching her life close in around her because her focus is on fixing everything else out there. And I'm going to give you the same message I give her, which is it doesn't go on around you unless there's some attraction inside you. Doesn't mean you're causing it. It means you have a belief that you're in a system where these kinds of injustices occur. Okay. Or these are the rules of the game. And that's why it shows up around you. And it's there specifically to trigger you. And right now, the trigger is causing you to take action externally. You're starting to see that you're not getting the results you want. So maybe you're going to start looking, okay, maybe there's a different kind of action to take internally. Don't just let it go and pretend it isn't there. That's whistling in the dark. Okay, it's going to keep the problems alive. Now, just like any drug addict who goes cold turkey, you're going to Jones for a while. You're going to start feeling uncomfortable. So if you stop paying attention to this stuff for a while, guess what? You're going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to go, oh, because that's what your system has been. Your biochemistry's been that way your whole life. Literally, you're addicted to it. And I'm not blaming you or saying anything. This was hard for me to accept that I was addicted to negative emotions for a long, long time because that was what I was used to. So if you go through the Jones phase and you see, okay, this isn't working, and now you don't do anything externally, and then you start to feel the discomfort, that becomes your roadmap of where you go inside to see what can be cleared. Then you're no longer whistling in the dark. You're saying, oh, this is something that I'm still holding, and that's why it showed up around me, even though I wasn't creating it. Okay? I don't know if that helps or if that's too harsh, but that was one of the harsh realities I had to learn.
It helped. However, um, the thing that I'm tired of it is normal if you are trying to solve the situation, and the good point is that I usually succeed, and I
See, you're
show.
effective. You're like my sister in many beautiful ways. She's created these foundations. She's helped these people and everything, and she's tired. However, the unconscious operating belief is it's a struggle and it's tiring. And that's what you might want to look at. One of the hardest things I had to learn was try easy, to just let it come and let it come around the world. So, what is it in me that's invested into doing this in a way that drains me?
Yeah, the comparison, or in comparison with your sister, I don't think I'm this kind of charity person. I
No, you're a hard
usually
worker. You're a hard
I
worker.
usually pick up the authorities. I mean, the state authority, or as you may know, the Damian the
Yeah, yeah.
caretaker, or yeah. So this is when I see that they are abusing lots of people, and this is their pattern, and I feel like somebody has to change this.
Yeah. So
I know it's exhausting.
you logged on after I did my opening talk. So I highly recommend that after this gets published on YouTube, you go back and watch that, and it directly answers your question on the different levels of awakening. And you're moving into the first level of awakening to realize that the system is stacked and they're abusive. Yeah, the second level awakening is when you don't fight the fight anymore because you're still trapped in the system. And that's
Oh
right
yeah.
where you're at. You're beautifully. So go back and check that out.
Hmm.
I think you might
Yeah.
have your answer.
I Yes, I listened to that. I didn't know how to apply it to this case. So
Ah,
thank you for your feedback.
all
Thank you,
right.
Peter.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right,
Thanks.
Hannah, you're up next. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Hannah.
We're
Good to
good.
see you.
Uh, um, I'm back. I'm back, and I have, in regards to the healing journey, that I have been on, with now over 365 days of being hit by a car, nursing homes, everything being operated on my clavicle, and now being home for 12 days a year ago from the hospital being operated on and trying to figure out how to get up out of bed and walk and everything. I'm a year later and I'm doing amazingly well. And I just have to say that it's Joe Dispenza. It's everything that it's the belief that we can do it. And I missed what you shared, the opening talks. So I think this is helping me. And I see myself shifting and turning both spiritually and, from, I think, the 3D moving into the 5D, but it's also having to do with the healing. And then with talking with the biochemist, with the company that I'm with, and the healing process, it's not on every, it's just my body has shedded like an onion. But I guess now my body is now having to be put back together again. And it's also having to do with past injuries, which is the our beliefs. And I'm trying to put the two together, if you can understand me.
Yeah,
But
Hannah, let me just dive in because I love you and I've witnessed your healing journey this past year. And I want you to please hear what I'm going to say in the spirit that it's given with love. It's time to stop telling the story of what happened and what you've
yeah,
overcome. And it's time to start telling the story of who you are becoming. As long as you keep framing it in this happened and I overcame it, then you're still holding that in your consciousness. Now it's like, look at me, I'm walking. That was something I couldn't do not too long ago. And don't go into any detail. Just be aware and grateful that you've changed. The more you focus on the detail of your story, the more you embed that into your unconscious and it becomes there. And look, my growth has come so much that I'm realizing there's these other things I've held trapped inside me. Wow, I can see so much further now. And now my game has gotten bigger. I'm not just playing this small game of one recovery, I'm playing this whole game of lifetime recovery. Wow. And so you do that for a little while, and then you stop telling that story and you tell
that's
the
what I've
new
been
story.
trying to do. So thank you.
Beautiful. You're doing it. Beautiful, Hannah. I just want to reinforce that.
Just want to hear it from you, and just, it's like turn yeah, I'm living in this moment today,
You're
and I
beautiful, Hannah, and you've come so far and you've got it. And now you realize you're ready for graduation. You're not in school anymore. Put the diploma up. I am healed. And this is something I saw at the Ram school when I was with Ram. That was crazy. He was really mad one day about all the shit that was going on and our inability to do miraculous things. And so what he did was he called us all outside and he called the 10 people who were the most sick and injured and said, right now, shut up, drop your crutches and walk over to me. And he yelled at them. He yelled at them. Just stop your bullshit story about being injured. And I saw it. I saw people do it in the moment. And, yes, it was really harsh how he decided to do it, but I watched the instant transformation. And that was planted into my head that, wow, you can shift that much from a lifetime of story and injury, from having a cane and a prop to actually start walking. And I've seen it in other people since then without as much stress as he put out there. So I'm just saying, you're at that point where you can drop it.
I hope that helps other people.
Amen, sister. Amen. Beautiful. Okay, Rhonda, we're going to take your question. Then I see Rita, it's your hand up. We're going to stop questions after Rita because we got to spend some time in our beautiful manifestation creation. So, Rhonda, you're up. Tracy, be ready to answer the question, okay?
Hi. So I feel like I already know the answer, but I'm going to articulate it. Uh, I feel like I have been conscious of outside sources. I mean, ever since I saw David Icke in 1997. And so that has been my lens for the last 20 plus years. I'm well aware that everybody talks about this is the time, the veil is thinning, this is the time, it's unprecedented times. And I find myself like an outside observer watching all of this, intellectually understanding it, but not able to connect to it in terms of what do I want my life to look like. And I feel like there's this hamster wheel in my head that will talk about um, it's so much easier for me to focus on the things I don't want. I find it really, really difficult to imagine the life I do. And I'm getting frustrated because I feel like, Jesus Christ, time is just passing by and I'm missing the opportunity and I'm missing the window. And why can't I shift this? And yeah, that's kind of, oh, and I have this injury, a knee injury that makes it really difficult to walk and move forward. And so I don't know the connection there because I don't seem to make it get better. And anyway, that was my concern is like, I feel like I'm just this observer watching myself either be passive or, make uh, bad choices. Not bad choices, but choices that don't propel me forward into something that I think I want that I don't really tell myself that I don't know what that is.
So when I tune into your team, uh, they were showing me that you have had a lot of past lives where you came in as a more advanced soul, tried to make things happen, and were killed for them, ostracized, thrown out of communities, all different kinds of things. So, in your cellular memory, there's a tremendous amount of fear about buying into this idea that, oh, yes, we really are in the transformation and we're going to make it this time, right? Because you've had other lifetimes where you thought, you could create that, you could have that. And it ended up being horrible for you. And I also really feel you have what I call a soul overlay, which was you as a sovereign being in a past life told yourself, never again. I'm never going to do this again, right? And because you were sovereign, that kind of overlay on your soul is still there and it needs to be released. And generally, like that's helpful to sign up for a session and have somebody hold space with you to do those because those are really powerful creations. Um, I feel like also even the injury with the knee, I'm getting a sense like it's all just part of that same energetic keeping you like we're not going to let you if you had full health and ability to move forward, maybe you would actually try and move back into this position of being a spiritual teacher or leader and or having 5D gifts and abilities or whatever it was going to be. So we're going to keep creating all kinds of obstacles in your life so that you can't get where you want to go based on your own declaration. These are easy to release. I really would suggest just sign up for a session and let's get that taken care of. And I imagine after that, all this stuff that you're wanting, you'll be able to shift from seeing it and wanting to believe it to actually being it, living it, knowing it.
Yeah, I just want to add that Awareness is always the first step, and awareness is the last step. Because you articulated your question so beautifully and very clear, you're quite aware of it. That means the healing's already underway. Okay. Now, I just want to add a little personal stories into this. Literally on Friday, I was talking to an orthopedic surgeon about knees, not one, both. And what are knees? Lack of flexibility. All right. So it doesn't matter how far you are or how low you are or how conscious you are. I believe that I've got some good consciousness and I'm still playing the knee game. All right. And the knee game is, what am I not flexible about? All right. Now, right at the very beginning, you started saying, yeah, I was listening to David Icke and he opened my eyes, right? That was that first level of awakening I was talking about in the opening. Beautiful. Time to let that story go. All right. Now it's the time to tell only the story of what you want, not the story of what you don't want. Now, this is super hard when I'm working with people on how to pray, because we're so conditioned to know what I don't want. And that's great. No, no, no. You keep saying no. And I recommend you all say no to the politics and all the crap that's going on in the world. But then you don't focus on it. You say no, you're done with it, and then you move on. Okay. But in your own life, you start to realize the no is what I don't want. Then you have to sit in meditation of what you do want. Okay. And that's going to create the discomfort, like I was talking about earlier when I was talking to Diana. If you're letting go of your addiction, in this case, your addiction to discomfort and not getting what you want. All right. And that's going to create all kinds of discomfort. And then you do what Tracy was saying, you pray the second prayer. Show me why I hold this. Show me what my investment in this attraction is. And that's when you become the sovereign being and go, oh, yeah, I am creating this because I'm still relating on this level. And then you start practicing. We do a group meditation every Tuesday night, US time. In the US, Gerard, who's on this call, does one in Europe every Wednesday for those of you who are over across the seas. And what we do is we hold a group consciousness of what we want. And this is important until you get to your own individual place where you can hold clearly what you want. You rely on the power of group. Two or more gathered in my name, I am there. Okay, that's what this source says. Right? And so you rely on that. So you're in that field, and that takes a lot of the pressure off. And then you just keep praying the second prayer. What is it in me that attracts this? And eventually you see what you want. It's like Tracy said when we did the money meditation, and it took us 4 meditations as a group before everyone in the group can freely talk about what it would be like to live in a world of abundance, the abundance economy, because we couldn't hold it because we had so much programming and training on the other stuff. You're at that beautiful place, Rhonda. You should be celebrating how much you've let go, not the difficulty you're facing. The fact that you're asking these questions is so fantastic.
Cool. Thank you. I have an appointment with you on Thursday.
Let's go for it. Rock and roll.
Thank you very
Beautiful.
much.
Thanks. Okay, Rita, you're going to be our last question to take us home. But we're not ending this video. We're going to do the group process, so stay around. Okay, Rita, please.
Hey, Peter, thank you for taking my last 2 questions, if it's okay.
2, go for it.
The first one is the one that you were talking about earlier. So you were saying the timeline changing and people might remember something that you don't remember, but we are talking about the same thing. So it actually happens to me quite a lot that my family remembers something that I've done when I was little, but I don't remember it at all. And it happens like a lot. So
This is good. I just want to interject, Rita, to tell everybody we're not just crazy. Talk to anybody who does their consciousness work, and they're going to start seeing these little slips, time slips, memory slips. This is the bifurcation. So thank you for affirming that for everybody. Cool.
yeah, because I have been doubting myself. Maybe it's my memory, like something's wrong.
Right.
So thank you for that. And the second question is that seeing that we're going on this bifurcation journal, I've been feeling that sometimes I'm on this 3D energy and sometimes I'm at the 5D energy, and sometimes I'm confused where I'm at, and sometimes I'm feeling like I'm in both kind of in the same time. Like I want to ask, how can I stabilize myself in going to or remaining always in the higher frequency, let's say?
Oh, so this is so easy. And don't try. We're in 4D now, right? We gone from 3D to 5D, right? And so all of a sudden you're in this expansive awareness. Then you're back, oh, I got to pay my bills and I'm worried. Then you're back in this expansion. Then you're like, oh, you hear this on the news. That's 4D. You got one foot in each world, okay? And rather than it's like having one foot on each side and pissing all over what's in the middle, you got to celebrate what's in the middle. Oh, I'm in transition. I had a moment where this happened. It can be longer. Thank you, Divine. I would like that. Okay. And that's literally all you do. You're still doing the 3D standards of must and should. And therefore, oh, it tasted good. And this is normal. We're all afraid, oh, can I get it back? It's taken me a lifetime to get here. How am I going to have this experience again? No, it's going to build more and more and more until you hit what's called permanently awakened. I'm at a beautiful level of consciousness. So is Tracy. And we still go into our shit when we go into it. Okay. But we don't criticize ourselves for it or say we should or anything because it's not right or wrong. There's no right or wrong anymore. There's just human expression. So in those moments, we realize, oh, I just did this. That didn't feel good. I got options. And that's it. I don't know if that helps, Trace.
Yeah. And what I was talking about earlier, like the more the strands of DNA that were inactive have been activated and integrated, the more, we have spent more time in the 5D energies and all that kind of stuff. We'll be spending less time in 3D. But this is a necessary transition. All the guides tell me this is natural, this is normal, there's no way to go right from 3D to 5D. This is our practice period. And because once we're truly in 5D, manifestation will happen very, very quickly. This is our time to really observe all of our negative thoughts, beliefs, patterns, densities, release all that stuff. Because if we were to carry that with us into 5D, we can manifest that really quickly. And that would be bad. So this really is our necessary grade middle school we're going through so that we have plenty of time to practice and experience it for moments of being in 5D and then, back to 3D. But it will weigh more and more heavily over time to more time in 5D. And then when we're truly ready, and I mean that with not only individually, but somewhat dependent on because we're all connected with each other, when enough people are ready, then we'll be able to go and stay more permanently in that 5D state.
And even when you're not in that 5D state, more people yes, right. So all three teams solve each other. Okay? And the other one usually is in a good enough place because they're all solved.
So, Peter, for some reason, your audio's, is everybody else not hearing him? I mean, it's just super broken up. So maybe take a moment and just turn your video off and then come back in and hopefully we'll get that. And
Let me
yeah,
just continue, Tracy, okay?
okay, now it's
Um,
back.
it's back because I'm leaning forward. All right. Okay. All right. So it was such a good story. Damn it. This is what I'm talking about. So one of us will go all 3D on the other one and put on a huge display of assholism. Okay. And then the other one, usually it's me doing it. Okay. But then the other person, because we've done enough time where we spent our time in 5D, can witness it for what it is, observe it, right? And go, wow, that was a hell of a display of being human. Humany woomany. Right. And this is kind of how it is now. It's all in the pantheon of what we're going to be. Rhonda, earlier you were talking about being the observer. That's all it is. And you're not triggered by this stuff anymore. So, right now, Rita, the bottom line is you still have an unconscious program running that you should be a certain way rather than celebrating that you're in transition and enjoying these things. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank
Great.
you. Okay.
Wow, great questions today, everybody.
I know this
Really,
is really deep.
really,
This was
really
super
fabulous.
beautiful. Yeah, it's nice to hear because I still scan YouTube and uh you know, there's still so much out there that's misguided. So thank you, Alexander Brandon, for your beautiful comments. You appreciate that we're keeping the narrative and the faith and light. Deborah, just thank you for your blessing. Colleen, a lot of gratitude back at you. Daryl wrote, love Peter and Tracy. I'm touching my toe in 60. He is. Daryl's out there. If you want to get an uplift, hang out with him, okay? He's got a Galactic Ambassador channel. Check it out on YouTube. Okay, so Daryl says, I'm touching 60 and it's a lot of fun, but 4D and 5D was cool. 3D, not so much.
Well, that's
All
honest.
right. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to go into a manifestation now, and this is what we want. All right. And so, again, if you can throw out the what you don't want, don't even bring that into the field. And so, if you don't have everything ready on the beautiful 5D world, just pick one thing. I'm in that perfect relationship, and my lover is like this. Oh, money's flowing to me. I just checked my bank account yesterday and this much was in it. So pick one very specific thing. The mind's going to want to go into, oh, how am I going to get there and stuff like that. All right. Don't worry about that. That's mine. That's 3D. You're going into source and use your specific thing as an anchor. The intent we're going to hold, is that the perfect timeline for the ascension of humanity is manifest now. The perfect timeline for the humanity ascension. Those you want to do service, you're doing it right now. You're holding it for everybody. And you understand that means your ascension's included in it, and you're going to anchor it by your focus on the one thing that makes your life so beautiful in this moment. Just one little thing, and know that that's going to be the whole anchor, okay? Trace, do you want to add anything to this focus?
No, I'm just ready to do it.
Good. Okay. So, first of all, we're going to get into a oneness field. And we're going to call in entities to help us. Then we're going to get into oneness field, and then we're going to hold this meditation. Those of you watching on YouTube, don't worry about time and space. Remember, we're in the quantum field. So we're holding it. It doesn't matter when you hold it, you can link into this field. So you're doing this meditation with us whenever you watch this, makes it stronger in this moment. Our doing it now makes it real for you. I don't know how that works. Okay, so here we go. Please bring in your sacred higher self. He or she is always with you. But when you focus on it, the connection becomes stronger. Now bring in your source, directly from the divine, whatever you call the God, the goddess. Now please bring in all your team, your guides, your angels. And if you don't know who's on your team yet, just say all hands on deck. Beautiful. Mother Earth, Gaia, thank you for being with us. Beautiful. Now, bring in your entire lineage, your ancestors, both your physical DNA lineage and your spiritual lineage, those past lives where you made whatever decisions you made that you're working on opening and expanding now. Bring it all here. And while we're at it, let's bring the future lineage in too. Let's go 5-7 generations into the future. Bring them back and they'll all go, yeah, this was the moment things change. And now look how good our lives are. Have their energy help us. Beautiful. All right, the angelic realm, you're welcome here. Our ET brothers and sisters. The dragon realm. Oh my God, your consciousness. I just put that new dragon little thing on the wall behind me, so I'm excited today. That energy's getting carried in this video. Now dimensional beings, the Celestines, the clerics, the inner earth beings, all those in the extra dimensions that are there helping us. Now we put out an open call to all beings of high frequency, any entities interested in earth becoming fully ascended in helping us achieve our individual goals and blessings. We ask you to be here now. Now, if you care to, please repeat after me. I am my I am presence. And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. Now, during this next song, we're going to breathe in and out to each other's hearts. Everybody on the call, everybody who's with us, watching the video, everybody in spirit, everybody. Breathe from the central sun to your heart to everybody else. Okay? Beautiful. Good. We've got such a good team here. There's some really high consciousness people on this call and watching this video. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, so when this song starts, breathe directly from central sun to your heart to everybody on the call, everybody watching the video, no matter what time or space they're in, and everybody in spirit. Then breathe back from their heart to yours and your heart to theirs. Those of you who understand light language and the mudras, you're using your hands, go ahead, bring that all present. Thank you so much. Thank you, sweet divine, that we are all living in the optimal ascension timeline for Earth. Thank you for the personal blessings this brings to our lives. Thank you to the field it creates for everyone on the planet to move into the golden age. And so it is. Now, please, either just allow the fields to come to you or anchor it in by holding that one thing that you're going to see specifically change in your life, knowing that's the anchor point that all of this is coming through on. Hold that for the next 15 minutes. Please complete this experience with gratitude. And those of you who experience something, please put it in the comments in the video below. What is your vision of 2026? What did you experience in this meditation? There's a couple of people I'd love to invite to share their experience, both Gerard and Daryl. Daryl, if you would like to go first, if you've got something to add, your hand mudras were most beautiful during this time.
I would love to. I mean, this is what I got was that Peter channeled for me recently a dragon spirit named Shira, and which is the guardian protector of Lake Titicaca. And in one of the conversations I had with her, she said, I had to protect them. They are my babies. They are the dragonflies. And at first I thought, how cute. It's a dragon entity saying dragonflies, and that's the reason why they said dragonflies. And then I looked up and studied dragonflies, and I found out that dragonflies live their whole life in a dark, heavy, murky underwater environment where they kill each other and they kill other things, and they're very, very killing, dark, heavy, dense. And then suddenly they get the impulse to climb up a stalk. And out of nowhere, they just have to climb up that stalk. And then they become a cocoon. And in that cocoon, they become mush. They literally change their body into something that is mush that they don't understand. They just have to do it. And in a very short time, within days, they bypass their whole lives, their whole existence, and they turn to mush. And then within days, they peep out. And when they peep out, they become something entirely new. They become dragonflies in a new environment with new eyes that see new visions, with wings that can fly, with a body that can sense extra dimensions and extra senses that were no longer their previous existence. What occurred to me is we are the dragonflies. Humans are the dragonflies. Humans have spent eons and eons underwater in an environment that's murky, dense, where we killed each other, where we ate anything that got in our way, where we were totally destructive. And now we have been called to call up to stock. And we are now in a cocoon. We are now converting our body into something that's totally different, into the new crystalline body. And once we peep out, those of us that are on the cutting edge, we are going to manifest into a different type of body. We are going to manifest out of the carbon body into our 12-strand DNA crystalline body. And that is what all of us here on this call, or who's listening to the call, all of us that are on the leading edge of evolving are doing. So what we all should understand is, for some of us, we're going to be in that mushy pattern a month, 2 months, maybe a year, because we're talking about the whole eons of creation here, right? So your body and all of us are different, are changing. We're changing into our crystalline body. We're accepting our upgrade of our DNA codes for crystalline out of the carbon body. And once we emerge, we're going to emerge into a new type of body where we're going to have new senses. We're going to be able to have a lot of the psychic senses that was previously unknown to humanity. It's part of your inheritance. It's part of your new body. It's part of your new existence. So this is what the year 2026 has in store for you.
That's so beautiful, Daryl. Thank you. It's so much better than the butterfly and the cocoon, because I never wanted to start out as a worm. I'd like starting out as the predator.
Because that's evidently what we work for, eons and eons.
Yeah. Thank you. Gerard, do you want to join in and just pick up your perceptions here? I know I've meditated with you a lot. You've got beautiful things to share.
Well, first of all, I very much enjoyed the questions and even more so the answers that you and Tracy gave. That was beautiful. I experienced a lot of oneness when we did that part of us being together. And then during these 15 minutes, I learned my lesson during this call. I thought, let's be selfish. Let's be very earthly. So I imagined there to be an extra 100,000 euros on my account. But immediately as I started doing that, that shifted to 500,000. Plus, it was supposed to be one thing, but then I saw this huge, big, brand new Mercedes parked right in front of our house. And those two kept together. They stayed together. They were apparently linked. And there were no thoughts about how can that be. It was just the case, but it came together, or it all the time I felt this golden beam of light coming to actually my wife's laptop, where we look at the bank account. how much have we received, what have we been spending. So that beam of golden light kept going to her laptop. I saw, and that was one thing, the Mercedes, her laptop, and the golden beam of light. And then the figure went up even more to very specific, 620,007. It ended with 702,000 euros. I mean, I'm a spiritual being. I don't think so much about money normally, but it was beautiful that this was so down to earth and so lovely, selfish. And it was very good because I felt at the same time it was radiating out and it was doing a lot of good. My wealth, my personal wealth, was doing so much good for that was all around me. It was like it was affecting the whole, well, I'm not saying the planet, but especially certainly the village where I live.
Beautiful. Deb wrote in the chat, experience joy and happiness where everyone's needs and wants are fully expressed with ease, grace, and gratitude. Sounds like you and her were having the same meditation, except yours was in euros. I love it. This is the abundance economy. It's coming to us. Tracy, do you want to have a closing message before we end this call?
Yeah, so when Daryl was on and we did the whole thing with the dragons and we talked about how it connected also with A1 Atlas, that was my first time connecting to, well, what we call an asteroid, but that's actually consciousness, right? Um, and I had seen that there was something shifting in the ability for our eyes to take light back into our pineal gland. And this time I saw a continuation of that, a deeper understanding of what's happening was we have this ability to take in much more light and store it, and then also that it would be going down through our spine and out through all of the nerves that feed all of the muscles and organs and everything. So literally our whole bodies are going to have this massive amount more light that they are carrying within them, which is going to create incredible new levels of health, of youthing, of, being able to connect into the etheric realm, all kinds of stuff. And I was just so excited for us all that this is beginning, happening. We're going to feel really, really different. That's what I picked up.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Can I add in there that what you just described, Tracy, is actually what Lemurian priestesses had? They actually had very similar to what you described, but it was a crystal. It was actually a crystal located by their third eye, and it was kind of like a spiritual technology to tap into the light, to bring it to the pineal gland, to make all these senses and possibilities happen. So what you described, it really is what the Lemurian priestesses had. They really had that ability, and it was used with a crystal that was in the forehead, third eye area.
See, that's hilarious, Daryl. because during the meditation, twice Spirit guided me to pick up the crystal you sent me and hold it to my third eye while I was projecting out. And it was just hilarious that you would say that now. And it wasn't like this was giving me coded activation, because I know you put stuff in this crystal. I got the sense it was acting like a transistor to
A magnifier.
to realign the
Yeah.
frequency that I, and then it was having me do pyramid shapes and pushes and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, sure, Spirit, whatever you want. That's really fun. Maria just wrote that she took a trip to Mount Shasta, surrounded by light. Rita went to Mount Everest. That's beautiful. All right, gang, we're going to wrap this up now. Please put your comments below what's happening to you as far as this meditation and, more importantly, your vision for 2026. Please remember this is a video and it's like 3D stuff. Like and subscribe, very important for our channel. Tracy and I give sessions by donations 3 days a week. You can check the links below once I optimize the video, and just, you don't have to do this alone, and let's keep sharing it. Thank you all so much for being with this, for bringing your energy, because it's like I get to ride your wave into 2026. So thank you for bringing this beautiful reality and sharing it. Everybody, stay blessed. Catch you on the flip side, or should I say the, what is it, bifurcated side? I don't know. Catch you when we're all there in 5D. Stay blessed. Bye bye.